Boom. Good afternoon. Good morning. Happy Sunday. ATW, All Things Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Tony Twist. And as you can see, we have a special co-host today out of NYC, Mr. Kenny Dinkins from the
What is up?
Podcast. What's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, Tony?
Shit, man. Just scrambling this morning, trying to get a co-host, locking up our awesome guest that we got coming up, Iconlee. And man, it was a crazy week of wrestling. You had Impact, you had Hard to Kill last night. Crazy stuff out of WWE. Lots of releases again, getting everybody talking, just all kinds of shit. But hey,
a lot more coming after that too.
What's that?
I said there's going to be a lot more cuts coming. I'm gonna assume next month after their fourth quarter report call. That's coming in just to give you a heads up on that one. There might be some more
coming from Kenny. We got exclusives coming. I heard I got released. I didn't even know I worked there, but I got released.
Yeah, at this point, all the fans are leaving, so who's left?
But anyways, hey, we got an awesome guest today on ATW, All Things Wrestling Podcast. Awesome professional wrestler out of Cincinnati, Ohio. We got Mr. Iconlee, and we're bringing him into the StreamYard. Good morning, good afternoon, Iconlee out of Ohio. What's up, man?
Good afternoon. How you doing, Tony?
Doing fantastic. So we're joined by Iconlee. Like I said, we got a special co-host today, Kenny Dinkins. Icon, man, we've been trying to get you on for a little while, so appreciate you jumping on. And we want to hear all about you, man, and what's going on in your world.
Well, it's a new year, and I'm excited. I'm excited to get going. You know, I haven't been booked yet to start the year off, so that's always a journey to get that going. But I did kick off the year with a New Year's promo with my protege, the Prodigy, basically setting up anything that's going to be happening. And actually, I have a tag match happening in Texas, APW, Advanced Pro Wrestling, and that's going to be February 19th. So that's kind of what that promo that me and my first protege kicked off the new year, describing, basically saying that we're ready for any beef and any tag teams that are out there ready to challenge us, New Young Money, NYM. As I'm sure you see, Tony, right? You follow me.
Yeah, I mean, shit, man, big things happening in Texas. Gotta love Texas. Texas is representing for, the indie wrestling scene, man. There's so many organizations out of Texas. A few weeks ago, we had on Sammy Kiss out of Wildcat Sports, and, he's with Reality of Wrestling. And
Reality Wrestling's down there,
Texas is man, they're keeping pro wrestling going. Is this going to be your first time wrestling in Texas?
No, this will actually be my third time. Last year, to kick off the year, I went down to Pale Pro in Arlington, Texas. It's a new promotion, but it's affiliated with Warrior Wrestling. And I wrestled in a scramble match to start the year off, and I won that. And then I also wrestled Will All Day in Texas for at Pale Pro. So this will be my third time.
Well, that's awesome, man. Excited. Let's go ahead and plug that again. You said February 19th, right?
APW. February 19th. APW, Advanced Pro Wrestling. Follow it on Facebook. And, you'll see your icon. And I'll be with my second protege, Chris Demise, and we're going to kick some ass.
That's awesome. So tell us about how you got started, man. What inspired you to become a pro wrestler, how long you've been doing your thing. I got to say, your Instagram, you put up some of the best promos and different videos. I love all those, man. Those are really cool, really creative. So tell us how you got your start, man.
Well, I've always been inspired by The Undertaker. He's just his character is very charismatic, and it's very appealing to a young icon. And so when I was seeing that growing up, I always wanted to be like him in the ring, not necessarily the big, he's huge and everything. He's 299 pounds, but just the whole methodical pacing and the movements and the theatrics and all that comes with Undertaker. So, that kind of seeing him got me my start in wanting to do it years ago.
So a big fan of the Attitude Era.
Actually, no, dude, I wasn't even I wasn't even around really for the Attitude Era. I'm 26, so I started watching wrestling at age 13. So that'd be like 2008. So
Oh, okay.
mid in the PG era, right? And then
Mm.
over there, right in the PG era, right at the start
But
of it.
have you ever
So I
went
felt
back?
like,
I'm sorry. No, you
no,
can
go ahead,
continue.
Kenny.
Have you ever went back to any of
Don't interrupt your
the
icon next time, though.
I got you. You ever went back to the Attitude Era just to get some inspiration as
Yeah.
far as like character wise?
Yeah, I've definitely seen Undertaker's Attitude Era stuff back in the day. You know, with the teardrop on his eye and the whole stuff that he did with Stephanie and putting her on the cross. Definitely watched a lot. It's way more different. It's a different attitude, obviously, but but to religiously say that I have, no, I haven't, because I grew up with watching Monday Night Raw in 2008 every day. So
Okay.
yeah. But I've definitely went back. But to say that I have more time watching 08 and forward versus 08 back, it's night and day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So out of the Midwest, according to your Instagram, so did you train under Brian Pillman?
And Roger Ruffin, let's say Roger Ruffin. I went to school at Northern Wrestling Federation, and I trained under Roger for about 3 years. 3 years, yeah. I got my I put the money in to pay for school and all that. Took my bumps, pay my dues. And he has an actual show, so I worked the shows for the NWF for a while. And then that's when Pillman came into the picture, because he sort of started coming to the school as well. So I started getting in the car with him, taking advice with him, traveling to different towns with him, Tennessee, 127 Pro Wrestling out in Tennessee, Grimsling, Tennessee, Warrior Wrestling in Chicago, stuff like that, IWC. And then just doing all that, I learned, I picked his brain, learned some knowledge. He told me what to do and what not to do, and always to make money, when you're wrestling, how to make money, stuff like that. So I always say, yeah, I was trained by him as well. So Brian Pillman Jr.
Yeah.
Obi-Wan.
That's awesome, man. He's starting to get, he's starting to come up a little bit in AEW, but
his singles run is starting to pick up a bit. Boy Griff is getting beat up, so he's got to come out there and save them individually.
Yeah. So wrestling in Ohio, what we've talked to a lot of different wrestlers from kind of coast to coast, from the South to down to Texas, to the West Coast, East Coast. What's the environment like? What's the atmosphere like in Ohio? Is it big there for independent wrestling, or is it just kind of,
I would say it's I would say it's definitely big. I would say Ohio's a wrestling state, the home of a lot of good schools and a good talent. It's not like a flashy city, or just a state rather, but it's not like your Floridas or your Texas or any of that. But it's definitely hungry. We're hungry out there, And currently, right now, I'm in Louisville, so I'm not. I'm from Cincinnati, but I live in Louisville right now. So, but yeah, I mean, it's a very good spot to wrestle, or want to go to a school or find a good place to live. Ohio is a solid state. Cincinnati, Columbus, and Cleveland are solid cities. So. Definitely good wrestling history in the state of Ohio.
So what's the independent wrestling scene look like in Kentucky?
Wow. I would say it's ran by like OVW and like the Northern Wrestling Federation, because they both have their shows in Kentucky, but they use like the Ohio name. It's kind of like funny. It's with Ohio. It's like our airport. Our airport isn't in Cincinnati. It's in Kentucky, but they call it CVG. So. I would say like the upper parts of Kentucky, it's ran by like Ohio Valley Wrestling and Northern Wrestling Federation, just different big promotions that travel, to upper Louisville or Lexington or wherever you have it. But as far as like a actual school that's in Louisville, the only one is really OVW that I can think of. I mean, Grindhouse Pro Wrestling, I've been there, to train a bit, but to stay notable that you guys would know would probably be OVW.
Okay.
Yeah, they're really starting to come back up. Al Snow trying to.
Yep. Al Snow, yeah, he's their head coach there.
So tell all our fans out there where we can find you online.
Your fans are my sheep.
Okay. Yeah, we and Kenny were just talking about that. Like, yeah, I like that. So tell the sheep out there, where can we find Iconlee online? You got YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. Are you doing TikTok dance videos? I mean, I don't see Iconlee doing TikTok dance videos.
He's doing motivational. He's doing motivational speeches.
Yeah. We're not going to give the sheep that type of entertainment. Not right now, anyways. But yeah, you and your sheep can all follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter at Iconlee. It's that simple, right? Just got to search my name.
Gotcha.
Awesome. I love the logo. You actually got some t-shirts up at Pro Wrestling Tees. I got the logo trying to show Iconlee some love in the background here.
Yeah, and actually, shout out to the artist that did that. You know, she's really good. If you guys want to know who that is, just DM me and I'll send you her link.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. I was like, man, I gotta get me one of those shirts.
Yeah, when she sent them, I was like, oh, nice. That's really nice.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
So I have a question. So your evolution as far as Iconlee is concerned, right? Because you started off, you had the cloth on your face the last time, and now you have the helmet. So is there? Can you give us maybe like a sneak preview of like what's to come next?
No, well, I mean, we're not going to evolve that much from this. This has a purpose.
Okay.
You know, this protects me from the peasants. Just like metaphorically, Magneto was protected from the people that wanted to get into his head. And this here protects the sheep from the wolf that is my mouth. So therefore, that's why these are here. But we are going to be changing my my kick pads, and I am getting a new jacket. Which by chance, I am going to be selling my old jacket to some lucky sheep. It's going to be signed, and I'm going to mail it to them, and they're going to have my first original wolf jacket. I love that.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'll be doing that soon. But I'll be changing. I'll be going to black and white.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you do like these changes, is there always a backstory to all these things, or?
Definitely with this one. I mean, this is not what's about to happen. Isn't like necessarily a change. Like it's just the color. But when I used to come out with the cloth years ago in 2017. I was inspired by Dubai, so the vibes were Dubai. So, I had the cloth, and I had everything, and I was all about the money. I had my Cuban link chain, which was real, by the way. A lot of fake those, but I had my jewelry and all that because I was the icon of wealth, and I was catering to those around me that wanted to see my wealth. So, I changed over the years because I met a force of nature, and she showed me the darkness within my heart. And she said, Icon, you don't need to be the icon to pander to the sheep. You need to be the icon to shepherd the sheep. And so, therefore, I went a darker route, and that's what you have now.
Nice.
Tony's just like in shock at the words that I'm saying. Pure genius.
This is good shit, man. I'm hearing this. I'm like, shit, you got me entranced.
Yeah, so
I'm just digging the headgear. That's a pretty.
Yeah, I love it. When you said the Magneto was.
This is custom made by a promoter, a good friend. His name is Zoran, and he travels up to Warrior Wrestling, and he helps out at Warrior Wrestling. And he was like, Icon, you've got this helmet. It's not custom for you yet. So I mailed it in to him after a match at Warrior, and he mailed it back. So shout out to Zoran.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I like the whole, like you said, the Magneto reference. That's sweet. So
hey, I gotta have my references. If Trey Miguel can have Spidey Trey, right? I can have Magneto.
Exactly.
Yep, absolutely. So hey, in February you got APW coming up. I know you said not a whole lot of stuff booked. I know COVID's kind of throwing a monkey wrench, and some organizations are getting shut down, and and this and that. What could you have coming up? Maybe going into the summertime. Anything that you're doing?
Well, I know I'm going back to Tennessee for some bookings in March, and I know I'm going back to Texas in March. I'm like a weird when it comes to wrestling. I'm not doing it in January, so I feel like it's still a slow start. But everything's coming in March and February, and then for the summer, I'm going to try to definitely be back on Warrior with the Prodigy, or go ahead and do that. and just keep going from there. I mean, I know I'm going to Parlay Pro as well. That's
Mhm.
another Texas. So and then Grindhouse Pro is going to be in January or maybe the end of January for me. I don't know. I think I'm going on a cruise. So I'm not going to be at their Rumble, which is January 30th. That would have kind of been my first match of the year. But I know I'm fighting Chase. He's an OVW challenge, Chase Destiny. I've been kicking his ass all throughout the end of last year, and we're going to finally end it for our third match, and that's going to be in February. So there's a lot of things coming up. Just got to manage it all. I'm excited. Yeah.
Sounds like you're staying busy.
Yeah, and then always the goal is to get back to AEW.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was going to be my next question. So what are you kind of like aspiring to? Because some wrestlers that we've talked to, they just kind of love being on the independent scene. It seems like some of the bigger organizations are having that open door policy and shit. Yeah. WWE just dropped a bombshell and just said that Mickie James is coming back to do the Royal Rumble when they basically, they gave her the shit end of the stick when they fired her. So
and she got to talk some shit, right?
Yeah, so it's great that a lot of these big organizations are having an open door policy. Is AEW that's something that's where you're looking to get back to?
Yeah, because I definitely helped out with AEW All Elite Wrestling in September, which is my birthday month, which was a great month. I got to go there with Pillman, and I helped out backstage and everything. So I got my pictures taken, and I'm in their system. So I'm definitely looking to work for them next time. Get in the ring and test my abilities and show the world their icon.
Nice.
Well, I think they're definitely showcasing a lot of independent talent out there. Mm-hmm. They're giving everybody a chance, man, which is fantastic. They got so many different shows, and maybe Kenny, maybe you can kind of help me out. I don't follow.
No, they have. So it's like an order. It's like you start off on Dark, right?
Yeah.
And then you go to Dark Elevation. And then after Elevation, you go to, I want to say Rampage, and then you go to Dynamite.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
it's like a tier system.
A caterpillar. So,
yeah.
Yeah. So if you're good, you go up to Elevation. Well, I mean, everyone's good when you're there, right? So you go to Dark, you go to Elevation, and then you go to Rampage, and then you go to, Dynamite.
So, yeah, I mean, AEW, I mean, that's did you catch anything this week from AEW?
I saw some of Pillman. I saw some of Pillman's match against Black.
Yeah, I hope he gets a good singles push, man. Brian Pillman, I was a big fan of his dad back in the day. I'm going to show my age. I'm 41, so I was watching his dad back in the day, and some of the shit with Stone Cold that shit was classic. But his son, Pillman Jr., I see a lot of his dad in him. I think he's bigger than his dad.
Good guy.
Yeah, I think he'll get a good singles push in AEW, hopefully.
Yeah.
So Icon, with the independent scene just at a rise now, and there's going to be a lot more names being coming into the independents in February. Is there anybody on your list, like who's on the top of your list right now that you would love to face?
Warhorse and Beastman.
Nice.
Top of the list.
I heard of Warhorse. I haven't heard of Beastman.
You haven't heard of the Beastman?
No. Warhorse.
He was on MLW, Major League Wrestling. He's on Warrior Wrestling. You could search him too. If you see him, you'd be like, oh, that's the Beastman. Once you see him, you won't unsee him. Yeah, he has like a big old bone in his hand, and he wears like a big bear-like jacket, kind of like a caveman. But he's actually tag team partners with Warhorse at Warrior Wrestling, so they're called Beast Husk.
Okay.
Or War Husk, something like that. Yeah. Sorry if I botched their name, boys.
There's a Beastman Husk.
Yeah, there it is.
Anybody else on your hit list? Who's Iconlee coming for? Just anybody, everybody?
Whatever, whoever they want to put me in the ring with. I'd take any of those high-flying boys. I'll just slow the pace down and chop them down and kick them in their ass. Slap them in their face.
How would you describe your style?
Definitely slower pace than a lot of the flippies out there. I'm not going to go up there and do a 450 splash. I'm going to hit you with a leg drop and punch you really hard, and you're gonna feel the icon in the ring. You're not gonna, I don't know. I mean, you've seen my matches, right?
Yeah, I've seen a couple of your matches.
I just want you to tell our sheep out there,
suplexes,
how would you describe Icon
scoop slams, holds, a lot of holds. Pain. I'm intense. Intensity. That's my style. You're not gonna get hit with a 450 splash and then go walk off to the corner. You're gonna get hit in the corner. You're gonna stay in that corner and wait because you're in pain. That's my style.
Well, I would say, kind of watching your matches and stuff, maybe a comparison would be Shinsuke Nakamura. I don't know if that.
Oh yeah, I'm a big fan. I love Nakamura, dude.
Yeah, watching your matches, I would say you remind me a lot of Shinsuke. And he
has a lot of style and pizzazz with his movements as well.
Right.
Everything's important that he does. Like, I can just picture him in my head with the way he loads up before he hits you. Everything's like, boom.
Right.
He's not just,
Yeah, he's a guy that unfortunately hasn't gotten a huge push, but that kind of style, I do enjoy that because it seems like there's just so many guys in the game right now. It's like everybody's high flying, everybody's doing
crazy
Brian's shit.
I'd like a match with Brian. I think that's going to happen. And I think we have similar styles. He's a very he slows it down, but he hits hard, and he makes sure that every move counts.
Well, I can't wait to see that one.
Yeah, that'd be cool. We'll hype that up too.
You heard it here first, folks. Iconlee, he's coming for everybody, anybody.
My domain.
Hopefully see him in AEW sometime soon. You can say, hey, you saw him here on ATW All Things Wrestling podcast.
Whoa, I'd love a match with Darby Allin.
Oh shit! Just thinking about that right now, and then watching you wrestle, that would be pretty sweet.
And you guys are two hard hitting people, so I could definitely see not too much in the ring action between you guys. If you guys are gonna have a match, everybody on the outside better watch out. Everybody better make sure they have some type of medical insurance because these two. Oh my God, I can definitely see you guys just going all over the place. Oh yeah,
it's fun.
So Icon, tell our sheep, what is your finisher?
The Vibe Driver.
Finishers.
Did you hear me?
No, what was it? I'm sorry.
Your Icon finisher is the Vibe Driver.
The Vibe Driver. Okay.
Hook them, boom, and you go down. It's kind of like a front face cutter.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've seen you in the ring, man. You hit hard, so it's like anything hitting somebody with. Yeah.
Did you see when I smacked Chase Destiny in the face?
Yep.
You saw that?
No, that one I missed.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's good. That's good. I made him my peasant.
Well, hey, we're telling all our sheep out there.
Chase is good, though. Chase is good. Just not better than me.
There you go. You got to put yourself over. All right.
I was actually thinking to put him over real quick because I just buried him, but he did get smacked like a peasant.
There you go. Well, hey, all our sheep out there, Iconlee, you can find him on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. He's on TikTok, but he's not doing any dances.
No dances.
And then you got APW coming up in Texas, February 19th.
Yes, sir.
Is there a website that anybody could go to? Are they still selling tickets?
Oh yeah. You can go to their website. Go to. I would say go to the Facebook APW Advanced Pro Wrestling, and then that leads you to the link to their website.
Okay. Well, that's cool, man. We appreciate you coming on. Can you hang out for a little bit? I don't know if you got to run.
Your Icon's a busy guy. I can't hang on for a little bit, unfortunately. Next time, though, I can, Tony.
Well, we appreciate you coming on, man. I know you're busy.
Thank you, Kenny.
No, thank you for stopping by. I'm definitely going to reach out to you so we can talk a little bit more. I know you're really busy. You got to cut out, so.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, we wish you big things in 2022. 2022 is gonna be big for Iconlee. Look out for him, everybody. He's coming for you, and he's gonna make you a sheep.
Yes, sir.
All right, man. Well, you have yourself a wonderful Sunday. Happy New Year, and thanks for coming.
Happy New Year, guys.
Have a good one.
Same here.
Boom, Iconlee, everybody.
That was a great chat, and he's definitely gonna go places this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I like the whole headgear thing.
Oh yeah.
It made me kind of think for a minute though when they put that shit on Karrion Kross.
Mm-hmm. No, but you know what though? I give it to Iconlee for some fact, like his helmet did give me Magneto vibes when I saw it. It was like 300 Magneto, especially with the detail of the of his helmet. So I was definitely feeling that, and that's why I was like, when he said it, I was just like, okay, cool. I was thinking the same thing. You know what I mean? I didn't want to just jump off the bat. I'm like, oh yeah, it's like Magneto, and then he hits me. He was like, no, it's 300. You know, right. But I'm definitely feeling it though.
Yeah, I would say that his definitely looked better than Karrion Kross. Karrion Kross, looked more like something he bought at Toys R Us.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, shit. So yeah, that was a great chat, man. Iconlee, big things out of the Midwest, or he's out in Kentucky now. But man, let's jump into this week of wrestling. Shit, where do we start? A lot of you had the Bryan Danielson Hangman Page match, which I'm very sad about. You got WWE shaking shit up once again. Shit, let's just start there, man. You were dropping some news when we started saying that, you know, some more cuts may be coming. Samoa Joe got dropped. I mean, what's really going on? So
let's see. I mean, as far as going in like to cuts is concerned, we've seen a lot of people from Performance Center get cut this week. A lot of like the surprising names to me was like William Regal, Road Dogg, and you know, Samoa Joe, especially with Regal and Samoa Joe, where they just finished having them handle the tryouts. So they were like the lead people in like picking like newer talent. So to let them go and you saying that they're going in a different direction in the evolution of the Performance Center. So it's just like, what were they doing wrong that you didn't want to continue having them? Where like these people literally were like your veterans. You're gonna need some type of veteran people there to, you know, to continue on to like to teach a lot of the younger guys and girls that are there. So like now who do you have? Because like basically like we don't know who's training these people now. You know, we knew who was, you know, back then, and you know the way WWE, you know, does things nowadays is just like, man, you're letting go of so many great people, and you definitely notice a difference in it. And I was talking to somebody else about this not so long ago when I said like Serena D, when she was in WWE and she was one of the trainers. She was one of the head trainers in the Performance Center. Like, you've seen the difference between the way Serena D would train someone to whoever's training these females now. You know, and not saying that the person who's training them now is not doing a great job, but like, you see how Bayley, Sasha, Charlotte, Becky, you know, and like Amber Moon and stuff like that, like the list goes on of talent, Asuka, how their way of working now, back then and now, is like Serena D type style. Like you can still see Sasha Banks use a lot of Serena D's moves, you know, in the ring, you know, and like now, you know, the women that are there are cool. You know, I love their, you know, their style of wrestling, but I just feel like something's missing. And just WWE is just slowly but surely just plucking away and just tossing whatever black and gold brand style that we had is just gone. And it happened, you know, this week with, you know, when Braun Breaker won the title, and you know, he kicked the X in half, and I was just like, yeah, that's the end. That's completely the end of the black and gold brand. Like, you know.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, man. I would totally agree with you. I would say the caliber of talent is probably not going to be there like it was, especially when you're letting go of all these veteran men and women that were just like, they're integral for the beginning of NXT. And I was kind of reading saying that, and I don't even know where some of this news comes from sometimes, but they were like, oh, these were like personal shots at Triple H. And I'm just like, but why? Like, what does that mean? And
I don't know.
and like that's stupid. That's like just a dumb story. Like, oh, Triple H is sad at home. I'm like all these things, and I'm just like, what are people talking about? I'm like, what does that mean? I was like, Triple H is basically a McMahon. Why are these personal shots at Triple H?
Exactly. Like if
found out that, what do you think?
Exactly. Like if Triple H wasn't with the company anymore, then I would pretty much say like these are personal shots at Triple H just to like remove anything that he's worked on. But the man is still in the company. The man is sitting at home, or he's, you know, in a corporate office trying to, you know, finish whatever he needs to, you know, to do as far as business wise, you know, to me, I think everything that's going on now with WWE is just they're just setting up to eventually just sell the company off and, you know, and move on to something else, you know, and we're starting to see that little by little. You know, Vince McMahon sells the XFL, right?
Right.
And this is something he tried to revamp. Obviously, pandemic hit us, and they had to stop that, and then another company comes in and takes over. Okay, that's great. You know, and like now,
but WWE's not hurting for money. The pandemic.
No, they're not. No, they're not. They made more money. They made more money in the pandemic than anyone else in pro wrestling. They were the top leaders. Even though we had AEW, you know, coming in, AEW wasn't making that much money the way WWE was. Like, because AEW was still trying to get their feet wet,
right?
As far as getting everything.
The whole Peacock deal with so I mean that was like billions of dollars.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean they're good. They ain't hurting for money.
No.
The rumor about them selling though, I don't know. I mean, I guess in a way it kind of looks like that, but really WWE, the McMahons, they built a legacy and an empire for so long.
Right.
For them to sell, I don't know, man. I'm a lifelong wrestling fan. I don't see that happening. But you really think that's going to happen?
I think that's going to happen. That's just my theory. I'm not, 100% sure on this. For me, I feel like the strategy that they're going in right now is more of a like, let me set my ducks in a row in order to sell for the best amount of money. Because the person coming in, whatever company is going to come in, they're going to see all these contracts, and they're going to see like, okay, you're guaranteeing this person $1 million, you're guaranteeing this person $2 million, $5 million, whatever the case may be. So like little by little, you start Xing them out, right? So now you have a certain company where you be like, okay, I can still pay these people, still make a profit, maybe grow them the way I want to grow them, grow this company. And not for nothing, and I said this before to a friend of mine, I really feel like the person who's going to take over WWE fully will be Nick Khan. The Khan family is loaded with money. They are all over the place. They have football.
With Tony Khan out of AEW.
Yeah. So and that's his little brother, right? So they're in wrestling, right? They're in football. They have a soccer team. They are in movies, in media. They're all over, like corporate wise and stuff like that. So like, what better family to take over than the Khan family? And I guarantee you, in a couple more years, we're gonna go back and we're gonna say like, look, you see, the Khan family bought WWE, and they are fully the family in professional wrestling.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of, you can't really dispute that. But I mean, there's been a lot of rich guys that have kind of come and gone. I mean, shit, Ted Turner could have put Vince McMahon, out of business back in the day, but that didn't happen. So, but the
thing about it, Ted Turner didn't know shit about wrestling. He was just a guy with money. Right. But you have two people in your family that knows about professional wrestling, that loves I don't know if Nick Khan really loves professional wrestling, but we know Tony does. Yeah. So imagine if now his family owns WWE, and he has his hands that he can sit there and help, build a new WWE. It's still going to thrive. You're going to have two really great companies, and that forbidden door is going to be blown wide open because he's going to have them going back and forth between companies, or maybe just merge the two and just have one solid company in general. If he was smart, just take the whole entire freaking WWE library, pack it in together and make a whole new, company, leave AEW the way it is, because most likely that's what he's probably going to do. Just the way the talks are between, him and interviews and stuff like that. And then just go from there.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's crazy times. I mean, I guess crazy, in wrestling, you never say never. So
that's true.
I don't know, man. Shit. Let's just see what happens. But let's just jump back into the wrestling part of WWE. Mm-hmm. So you had a couple big things this week. Looks like Lesnar and Bobby Lashley for the first time ever going toe-to-toe at the Rumble, which I'm excited for. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I know. I am too, because this is something that I really wanted to see. We finally get this match. We finally get to see Bobby Lashley versus Big E. I mean, not Big E versus Brock Lesnar.
Right.
I hope it's not a quick match that we get. I hope it's something that's more physical, because I know Bobby can go, and it looks like, Brock has been training a little bit more to have longer matches. And he's having fun out there. So, hopefully they give us something really great, and it's not something that we just 15 minutes and then, out the door.
Who do you really see WWE putting over in this match?
Oh, I see Brock Lesnar getting put over on this one.
Really?
I don't think that they're going to take the belt off of Brock anytime soon, especially going into Rumble or leaving, the Rumble itself. I see them still keeping it on him, because the way everything shifted now, you have so many options for you right now. So Bobby Lashley is a number one contender. He's going to go face Brock. You still have the Rumble. You don't know who's really going to win that. It looks like Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns are going to have a little feud. So now Seth is either going to end up going to SmackDown.
How do they even explain that? They when I was watching SmackDown and I see Seth Rollins, because Rollins said the thing, well, I've beaten everybody. Who are we going to put in front of me now? And then Seth Rollins comes knocking at the door, and I'm just in a way, I'm cool, because I'm a big Seth Rollins fan. I personally think he's hands down one of the best wrestlers in WWE, if not anywhere. And I think with this character, they've really just I think they're kind of shifting back towards I don't know. I think they need to legitimize, Seth. I think personally, Seth getting the win over Roman would be amazing. I don't know if it's going to happen.
Right. I mean, for me, I don't think he's going to he's going to win at the Rumble, but I love the idea of having this feud again between him and and Seth Rollins, start up again. And I loved how the way they ended SmackDown of just having Seth Rollins come in. He did, I don't know if you caught that, but when he knocked on the door, he did the Shield theme.
Oh, I didn't even
of knocking. If you go back and you listen to it, he did the whole dun 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 dun. So there was Roman's face kind of changed, who the hell is this? And he's come in, and then he sees him, and the way now, with Seth Rollins, there were no words. All he did was laugh, and then it just cuts to black. And so it leaves you as to are we going to get some answers on Monday, or do we have to wait until the following Friday to find out, about Seth Rollins being on SmackDown, which I hope they do. I hope they kind of just prolong it. They don't say anything at all until Friday. Still have Seth come in on Monday, do something completely different with Kevin Owens, Kevin Owens just asking what was up with Friday, and Seth Rollins not saying anything at all. Yeah. Just maybe telling him in due time you will find out type of thing. And then leading into Friday where we start off with Roman, because obviously we're going to start off with a promo, with Roman Reigns coming out, finding out who is his number one contender for Rumble.
Right. So do you see Seth Rollins? Okay, obviously if this match happens, do you see Seth getting the win over Roman?
No. I think it's just going to be I think it's just going to be an opponent that he needs a really good, quick storyline for the next couple of weeks leading into Rumble. Roman's still going to be champ, because I think they want to have that, Brock versus Roman, for Mania, because you really don't have anybody else unless you have Big E win the title. I mean the Rumble this month, and then he goes on to face Roman Reigns, you know, because you have the decision now where you have Brock or you have Roman. My pick as a writer, I would probably say, like, have him go to SmackDown, face Roman Reigns. He wanted to face Roman Reigns in the beginning, but, you know, before Brock came back into the picture and before he became WWE champion, he wanted to face Roman Reigns. So why not give him Roman Reigns, bring back the New Day. Now you have like this long feud going on for the next couple of months leading into Mania, where you have the New Day and the Bloodline all fighting each other together. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing 6-man tags with all these guys again, because it leaves Roman to, like, you know, he's not going to hurt himself throughout the couple of months that we leading into Mania. And then you have two great matches at WrestleMania right now, where you have like the Usos versus the New Day. We can end that feud completely. You know, we don't need to see them anymore. And then you have Big E versus Roman Reigns for the title.
Okay, so here's the $1 million question. Does Big E get the win over Roman, or is Roman just going to be the champ till the end of time? Like, because I'm sick of it. I don't want to see it no more.
You know what? I like Roman Reigns as Universal Champion. I think it fits the direction that SmackDown is going in right now. You know, do I want to see Roman as champ this whole entire year? No. You know, do I see Big E winning against Roman Reigns? Yes. I think Big E will do great as Universal Champion. But like, now we're going to have this feud back and forth between Roman and Big E. So if Big E wins, I see him having one more good match against Roman. But then if he continues being champ, who else is left on SmackDown right now that's going to go up against Big E? Drew McIntyre is gone for God knows how many weeks, you know. We're not going to give it to freaking Happy Corbin or Madcap Moss. Obviously they don't want to do anything with Ricochet.
To be honest, you're kind of breaking it down, and you're really showing that SmackDown really doesn't have the title contenders like Raw does, man. Nope. I mean, that 4-way, 5-way match for Monday night, I mean, those are all your heavy hitters. Basically, SmackDown is just Roman Reigns and Drew.
Exactly. Because you think about it, so like you know, you keep going down the list of people. You have Sheamus. Sheamus right now is feuding with Cesaro. We're gonna end up getting the bar back together eventually. Somebody's just gonna say, like, you know what, we need to get them back together. Rich Holland freaking broke his nose, so he doesn't know. You know, he'll be out for a couple of weeks until his nose heals. That's it. You really don't have anybody else on SmackDown to continue on. And this is why Roman Reigns will still be your Universal Champion, because you don't have anybody else unless you get somebody like Ciampa to come up to the main roster. You put him on SmackDown, and you know he could possibly be a contender for the Universal Championship just because of, you know, the work he did in NXT.
Right. I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting how they shake things up. Personally, I'm digging Raw. I know, you know, he's kind of putting Raw down, but man, Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, I mean, these guys are gold, man. Give them the mic, give them camera time, everything that's going on Raw. But you totally just mentioned somebody a minute ago that I thought he was gone, Ricochet, because it feels like he's gone.
See, because Ricochet right now is always on Main Event. You know, and the only time you can catch Main Event is if you have Peacock or you have Hulu.
Right.
You know, so, and you just got to give this guy a chance. Is he like Universal title contender? I would say no. You know, and I like Ricochet, but I just don't see him being like a world champion in WWE, especially just the way WWE is going, you know, as far as like their direction is right now. Like, I don't see that. I can see him maybe holding a mid-card title for a good while, you know, like he did it, you know, before, but nah. Universal champ, not in his future at all.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. We'll see how the rest of the year's just getting started. Let's see where WWE's headed. Hey, just want to let you know your man Knucklehead Toe Tags gave you a shout out in the chat.
Thanks.
A while back. Leonardo De La Rosa, I'm not sure who that is, but he said, would it be?
All right.
We got Brian Miller said he would like to see Brock and Bobby Lashley fight in the UFC. I think that would be awesome, but I don't think that would ever happen.
You know what? I will pay good money to see that happen. Because now the script is out of the window. Let's pull that, fourth wall out of there, pull back the curtain. We know somebody's going to win if they're in the WWE ring. Somebody has to write it down and say, Bobby, Brock, that's your winner, right? But, man, to get them in a real, take the gloves off, you guys are just going to go, like that match, I got to give it to Bobby Lashley. If you're gonna put them in that type of environment, I'm giving it to Bobby. I don't know what Brock's training schedule is, but I've seen Bobby's training every single day, and he's not just training for wrestling. And he showed it in his videos. So when you look at his videos that he puts online, he trains for everything. Like he's ready to go for any freaking environment you put him in.
Yeah, I agree, man. That I'd pay good money. I haven't watched the UFC pay-per-view in I don't know how long.
But you've seen it. I mean, I think it's going to be a while before anybody really wants to watch a UFC match because they just raised their pay-per-view prices to like $70. I'm like, who do you have?
Crazy.
Who do you have that you want us to pay $70 for a freaking UFC fight? Like, what big fucking main event are you promoting right now? Because goddamn, for that I'd rather go to a sports bar and watch it there and spend a whole bunch of money on drinks. Yeah.
That's crazy. $70. I mean, they're just making shit just unaffordable. It's like, why you got to raise you know how much money these guys are making on paper?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's just these organizations, man. It just seems like they just get greedier and greedier. They make it unaffordable for fans to go watch a fight in person. And now shit, you ain't gonna be able to order it. Like $70, that's a lot of money, man. I need to get like 5 people over and we're all splitting it. You know what I mean?
That's what it feels like. It feels like now you're gonna end up going back to those, like back in the day where you used to get the pay-per-view, you used to order the pay-per-view and have people come over, and you would tell them like, "Hey, listen, just put $5 in. Yeah, that's gonna cover like the pay-per-view or whatever, just for you to watch it. Because if you watch it by yourself and you have to spend $70, like, but like the good thing is about now with technology is that we can watch this for free. Right. I know they try to block it as much as possible. There's like a million sites out there.
Oh yeah.
I have a couple of them. Like I'll shoot it to you offline. Don't want nobody to be like, oh man,
we don't want to get shut down, man. I know you had some issues. You got your show shut down. What was it off of YouTube? What was it? What happened?
Yeah. So we normally do the Raw watch-alongs every Monday, and me and Toe, who's my co-host on there on Mondays. We were watching Raw like normal. My back was towards the TV. You couldn't really see anything, but I think you can hear when we play back the video. You can hear Monday Night Raw playing, right? And they literally just shut our feed down by saying, and then they said, "Oh, copyright infringement. This is the reason why it got taken down." And we fought this for a good while. Toe like went like above and beyond. I kind of just sent an email, but Toe was just like the people that's outside like protesting with their picket signs and stuff like that, and then they shut us down for like a week. They said that we couldn't record anything on our end, so we was just like, okay, fine. So we said fuck it, we took 2 weeks off, and then we came back, and everybody was just like, oh, welcome back type of thing, but it was funny though, because like I don't get how YouTube systems are at times, or even Facebook. You can't have the slightest sound that they recognize, because they'll completely just without any warning, they just completely shut you down, which is crazy.
Well, yeah, it's kind of crazy too, because like, all right, so we're a part of a bigger podcast, Word on the Street podcast, my brother's thing, and they talk about everything. And there was some, I'm not even going to mention it because I ain't trying to get shut down. So there was some controversy. There was a big court case going on a little while back. and they had just made mention of it, and they were just kind of giving their opinion. Facebook wouldn't let them. The next week, they were banned. They couldn't do stream.
Wow.
It affected our show too because so we weren't on Facebook for like a week for the live show. So it's like, yeah, man, like the way they police this shit sometimes is crazy. Hopefully, for us talking about it, I ain't gonna get shut down. So.
No, the way they do things, you can. I think like the slightest word you put in a text, they automatically like will block it. They'll put you in Facebook jail. You can't post anything for like a certain amount of time. I've seen people that literally they'll just say like the F word,
right?
And they get put on like a timeout for like a day or two, and then they come back and they're like, I got out of Facebook jail. I was like, what the fuck is Facebook jail? And then you look at it and like, oh, so this is what this is. Like, okay.
Right. That's so stupid.
Yeah.
Hey, happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us. We got today is a special co-host, Kenny Dinkins out of NYC from the Call Up podcast, filling in for Alex, the sports mouth of the 313. Thanks so much for joining us, Kenny. We had an amazing guest, Iconlee, big up and coming independent wrestler. Look out for Iconlee. Big things coming for him. He's going to be in Texas February 19th, APW, I believe.
Yep.
Advanced Pro Wrestling. So yeah, let's maybe go back to the Rumble match between Lesnar and Bobby. Now, I know you're saying Lesnar is going to probably go over, but do you see him clean win on Bobby, or is there going to be some kind of interference? Because honestly, I think if Bobby loses cleanly to Lesnar, I think that takes a lot of wind out of his sails.
Right.
What do you think?
No, like I see that still being a clean win. I don't see a reason why somebody would interfere. There's nobody that would interfere with Brock. There's nobody right now trying to feud with Bobby.
They kind of teased a little bit between him and MVP. There was something going on there. So maybe that could be alluding to maybe MVP turning on him. Maybe the Hurt Business gets back into business. And
yeah, I don't know. Unless you get the Hurt Business back together. And you have them try to interfere and they try to take out Brock Lesnar, type of thing. Or like Bobby just doesn't want it, so he like pushes them back. I can see maybe that happening, but as far as like this Rumble match is concerned, I could only see them just ending it clean and just having the two just fight it out, and that's pretty much it.
Oh, okay, all right. So looks like Bobby and Lesnar finally going at it. I'm excited. I can't wait for the Rumble. The Rumble's shaping up. It's shaping up. Let's just say that. But I think the big bombshell was Mickie James is going to be in the Royal Rumble. Now, I got a lot of thoughts on this because Mickie James basically just dragged WWE all over the internet, and rightfully so. She got fired in a really fucked up way. If you're not familiar with the story, all her shit being put in a garbage bag, basically. And, her showing up on Impact. Impact just had Hard to Kill last night.
Yep.
Anyways, let's not get too sidetracked. What are your thoughts about Mickie James being in the Rumble? And not only that, you got some other legends that are also going to be showing up in the Rumble.
So they made the announcement that Mickie James is going to enter the Royal Rumble on, was it Friday?
Yeah.
Right. I seriously think, and I said this to a friend of mine's, I said, I think that when they decided to bring back this legend, they did not know that she was Impact champion. Right? I think they just said to themselves, okay, we got the Women's Royal Rumble. We need to bring back some people, some familiar faces. Who do we have? And then they ran down the list and they said, oh my God, Mickie James. Yes, let's get her. And then they said, isn't she a part of NWA? Yeah. Let's bring her in. And then when they looked at it and they reached out to her and she said yes, being like a good thing, then they go in there like, oh shit, she's Impact Women's Champion. Okay, well, we'll fuck it. We already asked her. Yeah, let's just bring her in. I think they did this just to save face with her and say like, we apologize for what happened before. We want to bring you in for the Rumble. What do you say? She goes and says yes, even though she dragged their name through the mud the whole couple of months that she was, after everything that happened. WWE said, F it, let's just, bring you back in and see what happens. It's a good move for WWE. I'm hoping that Impact Wrestling will market off of this, right, and maybe bring in some newer fans into the fold for them, because they definitely do need it.
But
because
I gotta be honest with you though. I know you interviewed Mickey. Is she a sellout for doing this though?
No.
For as much as she trashed WWE, is this a money grab? Like, or is it just, hey, fuck, I want to just get out there and be out in front of the WWE crowd? I don't know. I was reading some things like, oh, she's, it's a sellout move and this and that. It's like,
listen, it's right there alone. Huh?
You having a party over there?
No, it's my kids are in the background playing Fortnite, so you can, yeah.
Go ahead.
To me, I feel like it is a money grab for her, but it's also an opportunity to showcase herself. She's gonna do something that's gonna be referred to from Impact. So you have somebody like Pat McAfee that mentioned it a number of times that she was the Impact Women's Champ. So now you see that and you're like, oh my God, I remember Mickie James, right? And then you're gonna go back and say to yourself oh, she's on Impact. Let me go check it out. So that brings eyes to Impact. That's going to bring more eyes to Mickie James. This is why I think if she didn't get this spot on the Rumble, I think Deonna Purrazzo would have won the title last night.
Oh, okay. So their Impact is looking at it like, hey, this is a great cross-promotional thing.
Yep.
Do you think WWE is now going to open this door, or do you think this is just?
I think that was just it. Because she was the only one. She was the only one from that they probably really wanted, because she was already in WWE and she's a legend for WWE. But if Impact was smart, which I sometimes feel like they're not, in order to really market this,
right,
talk to WWE about getting Deonna Purrazzo in the Royal Rumble as a surprise. Don't mention it, because they just killed any really big surprises for the Women's Rumble, because you announced Summer Rae, you announced the Bella Twins, you announced Lita and Michelle McCool and all these other people, but leave some space for a surprise. What better way to help out Impact if you really wanted to blow that forbidden door open? Is get Deonna Purrazzo. She was a part of NXT. Okay, get her on, get her in the Rumble, and let her eliminate Mickie James for the Rumble, so they can continue this feud, leading into leading into their next pay-per-view, because their next pay-per-view is not until February, which is I'm trying to remember the name of it. It's like the tip of my tongue. I know it starts with an R, but I know they have another pay-per-view coming up in February. And what better way to continue their feud, have more eyes on Impact, than have Deonna Purrazzo, be a surprise entrance in the Rumble?
I mean, that sounds like a pretty amazing thing to do, but we're talking about WWE. So.
I know, unfortunately.
Now, so on the flip side, for the men. And hold on, I was reading, they're like, oh, they're bringing back all these old legends and stuff just because they released most of the women off the roster. They didn't even have enough women to be in the Rumble.
No.
But, I think that's another story. But do you see any big surprises on the men's Rumble?
No, I don't. I don't even know who you have left to even be to really be a surprise. Like, who are you going to bring back?
Is there, there was a lot of talk, man, that, when the Fiend, Bray Wyatt, whatever he's going by, they're saying, WWE was still selling a lot of his merchandise. WWE pulled something out of their ass where he shows up at the Rumble. You see that happening because there's no talk or chatter really that he's kind of going anywhere. There's been a lot of rumors, but could you see WWE bringing him back?
No, not right now. Like if they was to bring him back, I can maybe see him maybe like a WrestleMania, type of thing. Maybe SummerSlam. They'll probably, would do something like that right now, just because I think maybe because the schedule that he has.
Right.
He's shooting that movie in North Carolina right now. I don't really see them try to work out something because he's the main character. He is the lead role in that movie. So it's just like, you got to work around that schedule. God knows how long that movie's going to take, and then you bring back the Fiend for Royal Rumble. It's just like, okay, we see him tonight. When's the next time we're going to see him?
Right.
Alexa Bliss is coming back. So she's somebody who's, who can enter the Rumble as well, as far as like the female side. But as far as men, I don't see anything. I don't see them bringing back anybody that is going to be worthy to, be like, wow, okay, we're going to keep this person on for a good while and have a good storyline with them.
What about Keith Lee? Anybody that's been released that you could see coming back?
I don't see Keith Lee.
WWE pulling something out of the hat on the men's side. I think somebody that's been released, there's a lot of them that they could show up at the Rumble, like bringing them back.
I don't see Keith Lee coming back to WWE. I think he wants to do something else with his time, especially the way he's been talking online. He wants to go more independent and show the fans like the old Keith Lee that we had.
He just posted something today. I think it was with him and the NXT belt. Why would he do that?
He always does that.
I know, but he don't post a lot, and I was like, I try to watch out for shit like that. Like maybe dropping some hints, like Keith Lee shows up. Don't be shocked if Keith Lee shows up at the Rumble.
God, I don't want to see that that Bearcat Lee gimmick ever again in my life.
Nah, I think it'd just be Keith Lee. I don't think they'll do that.
I don't want to see that. If you're gonna come back to WWE, just give me back the old Keith Lee that you saw in NXT and in Evolve Wrestling and all those other places that I got to see Keith Lee perform at. I don't want to see the Bearcat stuff ever again in life.
Right. Well, let's switch gears, man. Let's jump over to AEW. Big stuff this week out of AEW. The women's TBS title. Jade Cargill becoming the champ over there. Oh, he's shaking his head. Kenny's not digging Jade Cargill becoming champ.
Okay. So I like Jade Cargill. I think she is going to be a really big star, for AEW. I think that, her look is amazing. I love her attitude. Her I don't give a shit attitude, you know what I mean? Right. And like she tries to be more of a women's empowerment type of thing. Her in-ring stuff, it needs a lot more work. Like you can definitely tell, especially with this match that happened on Wednesday between her and Ruby Soho. Like she was too hesitant on a lot of moves. Like she just didn't want to maybe go a little harder than normal, because maybe she didn't want to maybe think about hurting, Soho in the ring. There were times where she would go for a move and she kind of paused and then did the move type of thing. And then you seen where she tries to do the finish, where she tried to do her finisher on the top rope. She was trying to get up there. She could pick Ruby Soho up like nothing. She's really strong. But she cut again with the hesitation. She hesitated again, and she's like, you know what? No. So that's why when they did it from the middle rope, and she kind of pushed her over. That the way she landed, I was like, ugh. It gave me a cringe vibe. I was just like, man, I hope nobody got hurt on that one. But everybody knew going into this tournament that she was gonna win. Right. I thought because of the whole, it made it even worse with, going into the new year with the whole with Tony Khan and Big Swole incident happening, where you kind of say to yourself, okay, if Jade Cargill doesn't win, how bad is Twitter going to be? Right. If she wins, how bad Twitter's still going to be, because people are still going to go out there and say the only reason why she won is because Tony wanted to save face. But I want to see moving forward now with Jade Cargill as far as what's next. Who do you have lined up for her that's gonna continue making her look strong, who's going to give her some type of good storyline, because, you know, AEW really needs some storylines moving forward into the new year. You give us great matches. You have a ton of people going into AEW now that we know are good on the mic, that can tell a story in the ring and on the microphone. So, like, it's time to start writing some stuff for these people. You know, it's time to have longer feuds than just 2 matches and then a month of TV, and then that's it, and then we move on to the next person.
Yeah, I think they are kind of dropping the ball in that aspect, because, and I was reading this and I was kind of agreeing with it, that the buildup between Hangman Page and Bryan Danielson for this second match, it was pretty lackluster.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you had, you know, this amazing Iron Man match that they had, and then for them to have another match a few weeks later, there was no buildup to it.
Right.
Like, they really could have just saved that shit for the next pay-per-view and really had that big buildup. You know, he had a nice buildup to their match, their initial match, where he was just basically, you know, going through all of the Dark Order.
Right.
And then they have an amazing match, and then they're like, oh, they go to a draw, and then they have a match a couple weeks later. It was a good match.
Mm-hmm.
It was great. But the lead up to it was kind of And now where do they go from here? Is that it? I mean, Bryan Danielson's had this amazing run going towards the belt, and then what is he going to be forgotten? Like, to just move on? Like, this is where AEW, I think, sometimes really lacks.
Right.
What do you think? What are your thoughts?
I mean, I think the way that they build up Hangman and Bryan was okay. I love the whole going into every city, you know, taking out another member of the Dark Order. I just wish they would have gave us a little bit more of Hangman, right. You know, instead of having like maybe like one time he'll come out for commentary, another time he just comes out to save somebody else. Like, give us maybe like Hangman, you know, preparing himself for Daniel by facing people who are just like Daniel Bryan. They don't have to necessarily be somebody in the AEW roster. Bring up somebody from Dark. Bring up somebody from Dark Elevation. Mm-hmm. Bring them into Dynamite and have them face Hangman. Shit, have them face Hangman at Rampage, and you know, and do something like that where you continue this storyline over and over again. But I'm hoping that moving forward, you know, past this Daniel Bryan, you know, Hangman feud, that maybe we can get more of Hangman. We've seen plenty of Bryan Danielson. It's time to see more of Hangman. It's time to see more of the champion. You know, instead of having him gone off of TV for 4 weeks and then him just showing up on a pay-per-view. It's almost like having Brock Lesnar. Like, Hangman is turning into the Brock Lesnar of AEW, where you barely get to see him. You know, you barely see a match of him, and then when you do, you know, you just see him do 1 or 2 matches a month, and then that's it.
Yeah, I gotta agree, man. Like, just the way they're going with some of these stories, because now it's just, like I said, it was such a lackluster leading up to this match. I don't even know what's next. What's next for Hangman? What's next for Bryan Danielson? You know, I don't know what they're doing. And then going into the MJF CM Punk feud, I feel like it's lost some steam, right? Like, it felt like there's been a lot of steam just kind of taken out of that feud. I don't know. You know, it was hot and heavy, you know, when they started it, but now it just seems like it's kind of going, and like, now what?
CM Punk and MJF feud was great in the start of it. They took a lot of shots back and forth with each other, and then when they did the little couple of shots in the beginning, you know, like with the whole WWE thing, that was cool. But now it's just like every single week you're gonna give us a WWE reference. As much as you guys say that you guys are not focused on WWE, you don't care about what happens in WWE, but every single week there's always something with WWE. It's like WWE was their ex-girlfriend, and they are like trying to like say like, oh, I don't like her, but meanwhile you're talking about her every single freaking week to all your friends. You know what I mean? Right. So it's just like, what is the end game? I like the way it is turning now, where like CM Punk is interfering in all of MJF's matches until he gets that match against MJF. So it's like, MJF starts off the year with a loss against, the captain, right? So it's like, okay, what's next? So like now next week, CM Punk is fighting Warlow. Is MJF going to interfere? Is MJF going to have a match? If so, is CM Punk going to interfere again and get him another loss? I think he should lose at least 5 more matches, be 0-5, and just get tired of it, and then lead into their pay-per-view in March.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of lost interest in it. I mean, that was a little interesting what CM Punk did, but like, how long do you really want to see that? But what you're saying, that kind of makes sense. But I just, some of the stuff that AEW does, the caliber of matches that they put on, bar none, they're like years ahead of WWE. They just, the talent is there, so they put on barn burners, all the time. So that's not the thing. But you got to have the stories to bring you in, hook you. Like otherwise, I'm just hitting mute between matches. You know what I mean?
Man, but you think about it. So like AEW right now is a super indie company. WWE had their indie company in NXT Black and Gold. That's done. It's like they passed the torch to AEW. So AEW has like all these guys that can give you high flips, and they want to cut themselves, and they want to put themselves through 50,000 tables and get hit by golf carts and whatever. And these are the things that people love because they love violence. This is what America loves. They love a good, like, if you watch something on TV and you're flipping through channels and you see something get blown up, you're going to stop. Right. If you see somebody pull out a gun and start shooting, you're gonna sit there and be like, "Oh shit, what the hell is this? What's this? Let me stop for a while." So of course, for a casual fan or somebody who really doesn't watch wrestling, right? If you're flipping through the channels and all of a sudden you come on TBS, you come on TNT, and you see somebody like Cody Rhodes who loves to cut his face up every week, all of a sudden you see this guy sitting there bleeding through his whole entire face, and he goes through a table. What are you gonna do? You're going to stop. Right. You're going to look at it. Yeah. And you're like, damn, these people got, a lot of action. I'll give you a perfect example. My wife, right? So my wife is a casual fan. Like, she knows the characters. She really doesn't follow too much of the storylines because, it bores her at times. But when I turn on AEW, a lot of the time she'll sit there and watch it because she'll be like, you know what? They do more action wrestling than they actually do storylines. So they're entertaining the market of what they know, which is the people who love violence. So I think that's a reason why they just don't do too much storylines.
Yeah, no, I mean they definitely have their core audience, and I'm just an old school wrestling fan, man. I like secret stories. But WWE, they on the flip side, they overdo it too much.
Oh yeah, enough
wrestling. But yeah, I mean, it was a big week. I know we're kind of running out of time here. Impact.
What a pay-per-view last night.
What'd you say?
I said, what a pay-per-view last night for Impact.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it, but I caught a lot of highlights.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it Impact is doing big things, man. I know you were saying. Talking to say maybe they don't know what they're doing sometimes, but
no, sometimes they don't know what they're doing. Sometimes they mess up a really good opportunity and drop the ball on things. But I think last night, if anybody, especially anybody who's listening to this and watching this right now, if you can get a chance, go back and watch Hard to Kill last night. Hard to Kill from beginning to end was a really good pay-per-view from the Division X women's match that kicked off the show to the ROH heavyweight title match with Jonathan Gresham and Chris Sabin. That was really good too. The triple threat match between Moose and Matt Cardona and Morrison, I thought that was great too. The Mickey James, match with Deonna Purrazzo, that was great. So they had great matches leading into every single segment. What I mean? There was not a segment in this pay-per-view that I said to myself, like, why am I watching this? You know, like I had both screens on. I had Battle of the Belts and I had Hard to Kill, and I found myself leaning more towards Hard to Kill than Battle of the Belts.
Right. Yeah, Battle of the Belts, not that impressive.
No, it was horrible.
So we're not even going to talk about it. But you heard it. You heard it from Kenny. Kenny, thank you so much, man. Kenny from the Call Up podcast out of NYC, filling in today as my co-host.
Anytime.
Appreciate it for you coming on. We had Iconlee. Iconlee is a up and coming independent wrestler. Keep an eye out for him.
Oh yeah. You
can catch us on Facebook Live, YouTube. Go to the link in our Instagram profile. ATW, All Things Wrestling Podcast. Happy Sunday. Thank you for joining us. Kenny, appreciate it, man.
No problem. Anytime.
I love talking wrestling with you, man.
Same here.
Well, that is our show for today. I am your host, Tony Twist. Hit my music and I'm out.